Burning villages left in ruin and countless lives extinguished this stark and horrifying reality, unfolded during the My Lai Massacre in March 1968, when a small village in Vietnam became the epicenter of unimaginable horror sparked by escalating tensions of the Vietnam War. The small community of My Lai found itself entangled when the Charlie Company of the 11th Brigade invaded with orders to search and destroy what they believed to be enemy hideouts, but instead many. American soldiers removed their moral restraints, unleashing indiscriminate fire on innocent civilians, the majority being women, children, and the elderly, despite warnings. Intelligence from headquarters believed Viet Cong fighters occupied My Lai, driving soldiers into an aggressive search that rapidly turned into a slaughter. According to some accounts, over 500 unarmed civilians perished within hours. The very land they lived on desecrated by violence on a scale unheard of until exposure of the atrocities brought shockwaves around the globe. Prompt investigative efforts revealed the dire oversight that fueled such brutal actions. Eugene Valand was one of the journalists who shed light on these grim events, working against the backdrop of misleading reports. Originally branded as victorious engagements with enemy forces, American soldiers like Hugh Thompson Jr. managed to turn the tide, forcing a halt to the madness by heroically marking off survivors in a desperate attempt to limit further bloodshed. Threat of execution loomed as Thompson's bravery later earned him the Soldier's Medal. Officials initially downplayed the incident, rewriting narratives that obscure real accounts of survivors. Later piecing this tragedy together was Seymour Hersh, whose investigative work unmasked the massacre's full scope, igniting public outcry and calling into question military accountability. Uniformly, a perception of war crimes lay over every exposed soldier. Despite concealment efforts those involved faced legal scrutiny, 17 officers and soldiers were charged in connection to the murders, but ultimately only Lieutenant William Calley faced conviction after being held responsible for at least 22 murders. His controversial sentencing originally dictated life imprisonment, which reduced to a mere 3.5 years under house arrest due to public pressure and presidential intervention. Turmoil and the relentless pursuit of justice highlighted the strained conscience of a nation. Although historical retellings demand us to remember this painful chapter, acknowledging the events of My Lai shifts collective views on military conduct, guiding future generations through careful reflection and responsibility.